Hey everyone, welcome back to another Vitae review. Today we're taking a look at the Jinyunpelta. Vitae, it's good to have you back. I only reviewed a couple of their figures on the channel, and I toasted their demise with a beer, so I will happily toast their return with my last dinosaur themed beer. So Vitae, it is good to have you back. I really missed you. Loved your figures when they came out a couple of years ago, especially that Giganotosaurus. So Vitae, this is for you. Happy to have you back. And what is this thing? Oh, it's a triple, 9.7%. I will definitely be slurring by the end of this video. So getting back to this figure, I ended up getting this figure from Dan's Dinosaur. If you'd like to pick up this figure for yourself, I'll leave a link to Dan's in the description. If you order anything from Dan's, just tell him in the comment section you heard about this from Dino Scream. It helps out the channel a great deal, and it's very much appreciated. So with Vitae's return, they have repackaged some of their older figures to include bases, and they also included a couple new species, one of them being this Jinyunpelta. Before we take a closer look at this figure, let's just go over the packaging really quick. It comes in this nice style box with this beautiful window packaging. You can see by the foam padding the figure does arrive very secure as part of the museum series. And then turn the box over, you get a nice artwork picture of the Jinyunpelta. Very, very cool. So enough about the packaging. Let's take a look at this cool looking figure. So let's start with a nice 360-degree view of the Jinyunpelta. This is really a beautiful looking figure. I love the paint job on this, especially that dark wash along the back of the figure. Just brings out all that beautiful scale detail with the osteoderms and scoots. And the pose is very active. The tail swinging to the side with the mouth wide open. And you got that front foot taking a step forward, and just the inclusion of a base just is really adds a lot to displaying a figure. I always bragged about that the base that came with Vitae's Giganotosaurus was one of the best bases I've ever seen included with a dinosaur figure, and the base that came with this figure is probably second to that one. It's really, really well done. And Jinyunpelta is an interesting ankylosaur, is one of the earliest known ankylosaurs to actually have a fully developed tail club, which goes to show that tail clubs probably developed much earlier on with Ankylosaur. So yeah, it's really cool to get a very unique and rare species in figure form. So let's just do a couple quick measurements on this figure. If you measure it along the curve of the tail and the head, this figure is about 6 3/4 inches long and about 1 3/4 inches tall at the hips. So Jinyunpelta in real life was just over 14 feet long. So I'll put this figure somewhere in that 125 scale range. It says it's 135 scale on the box, but it is definitely much larger than that. And before we take a closer look at the figure, let's just go over this beautiful base this figure comes with. Really, really well done. It's made out of a polystone material, has a very high quality look to it, and just all that natural paint color just looks really, really nice. A lot of dry brushing and washes to really make this look lifelike. And you actually do have some plants growing on here in a couple little spots. Now, there's one thing about this base, right when I got out of the box, that kind of bugged me. The way these plants are glued in, they are like shellacked on there, and they're very, very brittle. So when I opened up the box, a lot of the plant matter just fell out. So just be mindful of that. Just don't really touch them. You will break that up. And you can see right here, there's a little peg sticking out. And on the other Vitae model I got, that figure stands with a magnet. And I tried using the magnet on that figure to see if it would stick to this base. But it doesn't. But it's just really, really well done. And then on the bottom, you do have some felt to give it that premium look. So yeah, I definitely love the inclusion of bases with figures, especially when you can take the dinosaur off the base. I know some people complain about Collect Day. You can't take the figures off the base. So this base, the way it works on this figure, really just adds a nice dynamic to it. I think the figure looks beautiful on here. All right, let's zoom in and take a look at some of the finer details on this figure, starting with this really nice head sculpt. Vitae did a fantastic paint job on this figure. I absolutely love the eye. The eye is blue with a black pupil, and I always love the inclusion of blue eyes on dinosaurs. I just think it makes the sculpt really pop. You can see the beak is painted in with a brown color. Inside the mouth is very well detailed. You got a nice gloss coat in there. And you can barely make it out. There are definitely teeth sculpted in there. You can see the nostrils sculpted right here. You can see some beautiful scale detail on top of the head, and that nice dark wash brings out all that beautiful detail. And then going down to the back, you can see all the armor plates are beautifully sculpted. They have a little bit of a gloss coat on these large scoots. Looks really, really nice. And you have a little bit of white striping along the back, which just looks absolutely beautiful. Even the spikes along the side of the body are really well done. A lot of nice texture in, and just that gloss coat just really makes this figure look lifelike. And then going down to the front limbs of the animal, you can see all nice, beautiful scale detail and variation sculpted in. Some large osteoderms sculpted here and there. The toe claws are painted in black. And then turn the figure over, you can see some nice scale detail on the bottom with this really light colored wash. And then going down to the hind legs are beautifully done. You have this dark brown wash to bring out all those nice scales. Same thing with the back feet. The toe claws are painted in black. And then getting down to the tail, that tail club looks absolutely fantastic. Love all the texture and detail on here. They did a great job on this figure. And this figure seems like it's made out of a different material than their older figures. The older figures kind of had a very flexible, rubbery, PVC feeling to it. And this almost feels like a resin figure. It's very, very solid. So I'll definitely be careful handling this figure. You don't want to drop it. I feel like this figure would chip, but just the material it's made out of. Actually, does it even say on here what it's made of? Nope, it does not. But yeah, definitely has a very premium finish to it. So yeah, you definitely want to be careful with this. I just feel like one wrong fall and this tail is gonna snap off. Other than that, I think this figure is absolutely gorgeous. Moving on to comparisons, let's compare this guy to some of Vitae's older figures. First up is the Jinyunpelta, which is one of their older models. Now this figure has been re-released with a base. I think the paint scheme is slightly better. I watched some of Andy's Dinosaur reviews when he got the newer versions of these figures in, and I think they improved the paint schemes just a little bit. And I think these two figures look really nice together. I just love the obscure species Vitae produces, and next up is the Jinyunpelta, and this is another great figure. And I love how Vitae can pull off a nice bipedal theropod without the feet being too oversized and the toes splayed out. I mean, just look at that. Isn't that just absolutely beautiful to look at? So this is another nice obscure dinosaur species to display along this Jinyunpelta, and another Vitae model. Here it is with their Sinraptor, which I absolutely love. Actually, did review that one on the channel. And here it is with the figure that put Vitae on the map, their fabulous Giganotosaurus. And like I said earlier, I absolutely love the base this figure comes with. That water effect is beautiful. And these two figures do look nice next to each other, even though they did not live together. And here it is with a few more other armored dinosaurs. Here it is with the PNSO Sauropelta and the PNSO Borealopelta. And lastly, for armored comparisons, here it is with the PNSO Ankylosaurus, and I think these two figures look really, really nice next to each other. And here it is with the new Wilson T-Rex from PNSO. People just cannot seem to get enough comparisons with this T-Rex figure, and I just absolutely love this thing. And lastly, a comparison that really does not make a difference, only because I just got this figure in today and spent over a half hour transforming it. Here it is with Masterpiece Dinobot. So final thoughts on this figure. I absolutely love this Jinyunpelta. I'm so happy Vitae's back. This figure is beautiful. Love the inclusion of that high quality base. The paint job is fantastic. The figure has a very premium feel to it, even though it is very reasonably priced, and is definitely a must add to your dinosaur collection. And again, I'm so happy Vitae is back. I felt terrible when the company went under, but it's a Cinderella story that they came back, and their products are better than ever. I actually think this figure is a lot better than their last few smaller dinosaur releases right before they went under, and I'm very excited for what the future holds for them. And I hope they get some of those prototypes that they showed off years ago into production, especially that Suchomimus. I'm very excited for that. So like I said at the beginning of the review, I got this figure from Dan's Dinosaur. Link is in the description if you want to pick this figure up for yourself. So again, Vitae, glad to have you back. And now I'm out of beer. So the review is over. As always, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously and is greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.